All right, so let's get a little bit of a primer on these China trade talks. We're going to bring in the great Wilbur Ross, former Commerce Secretary and a leading member of the first-term trade team. Wilbur, as always, thank you so much for coming on. Just before we get to the... Xi Jinping hasn't been seen much the last couple weeks.
Right.
I know he finally had the call with Trump. One hears and reads, Ling Ling Wei for the Wall Street Journal. She's a very good reporter. Unrest in China, factories closing, wages not being paid. It has kind of a potential Tiananmen Square feel to it. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I hear the same rumors, and I am sure there is a lot of dissension over the unemployment. Youth unemployment particularly is going right through the roof. And that's a very bad thing in China. It's a bad thing anywhere, but it's especially bad there.
Yeah.
So there are certainly pressures on Xi. Whether they're getting to the point where he's in any danger of losing control, I would be skeptical of that. He's pretty powerful, and he's got himself pretty well surrounded by his people. So I find it hard to imagine that they're going to put him out.
Well, until they do. I don't know. It's a communist country. It's very strange in the dead of night. But whatever, I'll take your word for it. It's sensible. Now, what we're hearing from the talks, nothing specific yet, but again, reporting, and this is a bit troubling to me. Our side wants to loosen up some of the export controls that you actually were in charge of in the first term in the Commerce Department. Jet engines, which sound harmless but could be used for defense. Software to produce chips. I don't know what that means, software. I don't want to give them the family jewels on technology. Ethane, natural gas that can be used for plastics. I don't know, maybe it makes sense. I'm not sure what we would get in return for giving up those export restrictions. Well,
I hope we're not just volunteering those without a quid pro quo. That really would be silly. And I haven't heard anything about them really relaxing the rare earths. That's a big, important thing. And it isn't hurtful to their economy. Rare earth shipments are barely $100 million of the kinds that we need. So it isn't going to change their trade balance, but it's very important for automotive industry here and for other industries, a lot of defense and high tech. So that's a very critical thing for us to get. And it's export controls on their part that are keeping us from getting them.
And I still don't understand, on top of all that, they got a new Chinese negotiator, I'll call it. He is no free market reformer like Liu He that we dealt with 4, 5, 6 years ago. He doesn't want to do anything about phase one. Which was a deal that we struck. You were commodity leader, and we had the safeguards for intellectual property rights. Lighthizer created this dispute settlement mechanism that we thought was real. No forced transfer of technology. They don't want to deal with phase one. They ignored it. Now they don't want to talk about it. I would think that's a key point, to go back to phase one.
Well, I think phase one is a key point, but I think the even more important point is we need an enforcement mechanism and a penalty mechanism if they violate whatever we come up with for the new agreement. Because we've seen they don't live up to agreements very readily. They certainly didn't live up to phase one. So if I were the negotiators, one of my key issues would be enforcement and punishment for failure to live up to the agreement.
Which is, I don't know, given the dictatorial trends of Xi Jinping's government and this new trade guy, I don't want to call him a communist thug, but he's certainly not, he wasn't a reformer trained in the United States, okay? So leave it, just a tough guy. There has to be some way to monitor and police this, trust but verify. There has to be.
Oh, I'm sure that there is. It's a question of whether they'll put up with it. Similarly, with Vietnam, what we need is Vietnam to put the same tariff on goods from China that we have, because that's how you will eliminate transshipment.
Yes, right.
And one of the bad things Vietnam had done earlier was permitting transshipment. A Chinese good would come in, they would mark it up a little and sell it on to us as Vietnamese. Doesn't do the Vietnamese much good anyway, so that wouldn't be much for them to give up.
Do you think these talks in London, I guess they're going to go at least another day. I'm glad they're talking. I mean, Besant's a good man and so forth. But it just, it doesn't sound like a well-rounded, thoroughly thought through. I mean, they're in the middle of all these other deals, Wilbur. And there's, the clock is running on the pause, which I think expires in about a month.
Right.
I'm just concerned it's all too fast, it's all too hurried, not perhaps as well thought out as we want. There should be some comprehensive stuff, or let's just postpone it and defer it longer.
Well, the other thing is, how many parties can you negotiate with at the same time?
Right.
And I had thought that a good strategy would have been make deals with the other key players, kind of isolate China, and then deal with China. Because if we have made deals with the other players, makes us much stronger in the negotiations with China and would let us put in things that would prevent transshipment and other offenses of that sort. But now it's not quite clear what the strategy is. Why push the talks right now?
Well, Wall Street is applauding the talks to that extent. Wall Street is applauding the talks. Talking is okay. Maybe they'll get something good out of this, but I just don't like giving away these exports and not knowing what we're getting in return, but maybe there's stuff we don't know about.
Well, what we don't know is whether we are getting stuff in exchange.
Yeah.
There certainly are things that are more important.
Will they stop fentanyl once and for all?
Yeah,
I don't know.
There are certainly things they could give that would justify those kinds of concessions. But I can't imagine we're going to be making concessions without a quid pro quo.
Right.
Makes no sense.
Wilbur Ross, former Commerce Secretary and Brian. What's the name of your book? What's the name of the book?
Oh, Risks and Return.
I want to put it in there. Remember I asked you what's the key theme of the book? And you said?
Risks and Return.
No, work hard. Work hard.
Well,
my favorite thing.
That's the meaning of the book.
That's it. Work hard. I love that. You're the best. Former Commerce Secretary. There it is.